This is Monday, October 22nd, 2018. I've gone about as far as I could go with a client's project. It's that JBL microphone mixer down there, right here. I've got to put some direct outs in it, and I've just been exploring the circuitry today on that. But that's a job that I have to wait till parts come in. Here's the 1947 Silvertone. Haven't done anything with this in a while, but what I have done is I've replaced almost all the capacitors with the exception of a few. You can see this one here is original. That's original. I replaced all the electrolytics. The one difference is where I've got this test lead connected to the negative end of that electrolytic. That electrolytic at one time was 2 electrolytics. It was 2 500 mic electrolytics. That one that's in there is 1,000. They were in parallel in the circuit. So I'm assuming in 1947 the availability of a single 1,000 mic electrolytic in a convenient size to fit in here was not there, so they put 2 of them in. So anyways, I'm going to do some testing on this today. So anyways, this jumper wire here, I've got a plug-in a rectifier replacer, solid state 5U4, 5R4, what have you. If you remember right, the guy that worked on this before I got this set had 2 diodes soldered in underneath the chassis, and I didn't like that because I wanted to at least have part of this done so that this could be returned to running off of 5U4 rectifiers. However, another thing that I'm going to remind you of, if you haven't watched any of the previous videos on this TV, the transformer here, there's only one 5-volt output, and these yellow leads, which are the 5-volt filament leads, those are feeding the horizontal damper tube, which is a 5-volt filament. This transformer, original transformer in this set, had 2 5-volt windings for the rectifier and also for the damper tube. The other guy that worked on it did some very curious things that I don't understand. If you saw the first videos, he had these gray capacitors all bundled up in parallel with the old cans, and I took all the old cans out and I put these caps in. You notice that I labeled them so that if you look at the schematic and you want to find C107, well, that's you can find it quite easily. The only difference is like I say, this lead is going to a 1,000 mic capacitor. Originally it was 2 500s in parallel. So that's changed. I changed that. This wire right here, this is obviously a phone wire, red with black. It's obviously a telephone wire with that resistor. That was a shunt on the horizontal drive, and the drive that goes into the horizontal output tube. Now, the way the guy worked on this, the guy that had this TV before I had it, the way he did things, I can't imagine that he got anything out of this set. I can't imagine he got it working. Like I say, I've got almost everything replaced. As a disclaimer, I will say that I tested this prior to this video, so I know that one of my YouTube friends, Don, I'm a junk collector. He likes to see blow-up videos where everything blows up. If I blew something up, the next video I would show it, but I don't. I always test these before I make a video. So anyways, I got almost all the capacitors replaced. I didn't replace some of them. Those 2 are original. All of the out-of-spec resistors I could find I did replace. So I'm pretty well got it in shape, and I will tell you that this does work somewhat, so I'm going to run it up for this video so you can get an idea. I'm going to let me switch this light off here, and also this light, and I've got my little test tube in it, and we will bring the power up slowly, and maybe something will blow up. You never know. It might. I know I've got this kind of set up in an awkward position on the bench, but I'm watching the current as I'm raising the voltage. By the way, there's 300 volts right there. Now there's a problem with that right off the bat, and I'll tell you what it is. The B plus voltage is supposed to be 280 volts right at where I'm testing, and you can see it's going a bit over. So that transformer, the output voltage of that transformer isn't, and there we got a raster on the tube. So we got high voltage and we have deflection, so I got it that far. Let me look at my volts and see where I'm at with volts. There's 110. But you see, there's 367 volts B plus. That's not good. That's not good at all. It's supposed to be 280. There's 284, and as you can see, the raster on the tube looks a whole lot better at a lower voltage. So that's the big problem I'm up against with this set, is that the wrong B plus voltage from that transformer. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do there. Maybe find another transformer, maybe use 2 transformers on this thing and cable another one up into the chassis. I have several options. I have no idea if the tuner section is working. I don't think it is. At least it doesn't appear to be. The vertical is certainly working. I can't seem to sync up the horizontal, and I'm not real concerned about that right now. And I don't think there's anything coming through the IF section of it, even though I've got all the capacitors pretty much replaced. This is going to take some serious troubleshooting at this point, but the main thing is there's a nice raster on there at least. We'll turn the voltage up where that transformer is happily operating at. If we put it up to 110 volts into it, see how bright that is? That's no good. We need 280 volts there, and so that's a problem I have to solve. And to be honest with you, this set's probably going to be shelved again for a while. I just thought I'd make this little video to show that I actually do have some improvement. I've got high voltage, I've got raster, I've got deflection. So there's a lot of things, improvements that happen to this set at this point, but it's far, far, far from done. I'll have to figure out how to get some signal through the tuner. I have to go through the tuner section and find out if that's even working. If I push these buttons, I don't really get any kind of action on the tube at all. Fine tuning doesn't do much for it. So, and I don't know about horizontal hold. There's some controls on the back, of course, to adjust as well. But this is as far as I've got with it so far. So basically, here's where I'm at with this old set. I don't get any video in from the tuning section. It doesn't seem like anything comes in. But that's not my main concern. My main concern is the fact that this power transformer that the other guy who worked on this years ago put in, this Hammond transformer, it's the voltage is 100 volts too high for this set. It puts the B plus at more than 100 volts. I would say probably 110 volts higher than it should be. It's supposed to be 280. I get almost 400 volts on the B plus. So it's way too high. So basically what I have to do is I have to find another power transformer. Now what I did was I rewired, he had underneath he had diodes soldered in, but I rewired that correctly so that if I ever wanted to go to 5U4 rectifiers I could easily do that. And this is a 5U4 solid state replacement that I have plugged in there. So that's where we're at there. So I guess the next time I get to work on this is when I solve the problem. I'm not going to worry about the video not getting in through the tuner. I'm going to worry mostly about getting the voltages correct. That's about it for now on this Silvertone.